like Tamar Braxton just put her own sister on blast, and the gloves are all the way off. In a shocking twist nobody saw coming, Tamar is accusing Toni Braxton of trying to steal from her, and the receipts are stacking up. We're talking secret bank moves, shady financial switches, and a confirmed bankruptcy Toni allegedly tried to sweep under the rug. But y'all, it gets worse. According to the insiders, Tamar didn't just find out by accident. She found out when Toni's own bank flagged suspicious activity, and now Tamar's calling her sister a liar, a manipulator, and a thief. Well, how did this go from sisterhood to sabotage? And what exactly did Toni's bank confirm that sent Tamar into a full attack mode? Let's break this down. Only in love and war. Now, we've all heard the whispers for years that Toni's finances haven't exactly been squeaky clean. Bankruptcy filings, debts, court battles, it's been a whole mess. But nobody expected things to get this ugly. According to explosive insider claims, Tamar just found out that Toni allegedly tried to pull a sick move behind her back. And not just any move. She allegedly tried to get her hands on some of Tamar's money without permission, if you catch my drift. And let's be clear, Tamar is not the one you want to play with when it comes to her bag. Multiple sources are now saying that she's completely snapped after discovering what Toni allegedly did. We're talking about threats of lawsuits and calling the popo. Now, if you've been watching the Braxtons, then you already know the tension between the sisters has been building for a while. Tamar has been at odds with pretty much everybody, so if Toni really pulled something shady behind her back, this might have been the thing that finally blew it all to hell. But one thing about Tamar is that she's not the type to keep quiet when she feels played. She's been loud about everything and letting everybody know exactly how she feels. She's been telling people that Toni did wasn't just disrespectful, it was downright sneaky. Now, as for Toni, people close to the family say part of the reason that she's in such a bad financial spot is because she's always seen herself as the one holding the family together. She's taken on that role for years, but the other side of that is that she's allegedly had very expensive taste. We're talking private jets, designer everything, big homes, the whole lifestyle. She loves the finer things, and she's not shy about going after them. So when money started getting tight, instead of scaling back, it seems like she may have started looking for ways to keep that lifestyle going, even if it meant crossing a line with her own sister. But on top of all that, Toni has also been the one supporting their mom financially. She actually opened up about it a while back, saying she had to step in and take care of their mom's bills because none of the other sisters were willing to. She did mention that Tamar helped out here and there, but at the end of the day, most of the responsibility allegedly landed on her shoulders.
Mommy and daddy's divorced, and a divorced mom pretty much got nothing. I'm not going to leave my mom by herself. So I'm going to make sure my mother's taken care of. None of my siblings have helped me take care of my mother to make sure she was okay, except for Tamar. No one said,
This is before Vincent.
Before Vincent. Mommy's car insurance is due. Let's help Toni with mommy car insurance.
Or mommy needs a car.
Normally, I would never have a conversation with Trina or any of my sisters about helping out financially with my mom. But because I'm so stressed in that category, I needed to let her know what I felt. Hurts my feelings every day. My feelings are hurt every day because I'm in a financial situation myself because I can't work the way I like to work.
So between carrying the weight of the family and trying to maintain that luxurious lifestyle, it's not hard to see how things could have spiraled. Now, when you stack Toni's already expensive lifestyle on top of their mother's just as pricey lifestyle, it's not hard to see why she's been struggling to stay afloat. And according to what's been going around, it looks like she's got dangerously close to running out of money. And that's when things allegedly took a turn, because that's when she supposedly started dipping into Tamar's funds. How she even managed to do that is still unclear, but whatever move she made clearly crossed the line because, like I said, Tamar is not the one to play with. And the second she found out, she didn't hold back. And here's the wildest part, Toni hasn't exactly tried to hide how she feels about her sisters. In one interview, she straight up admitted that most of the time, she doesn't even like them. Not disagree with them, not just get frustrated by, but that she doesn't like them, y'all. So if there was already some tension bubbling under the surface, this money drama just added gasoline to the fire.
Although I love my family, most of the time I don't like my family. Everyone in my family.
Take a breath.
Everybody. I feel like I'm angry at everybody in my family. I don't like my family. If they weren't my family, they wouldn't be my friends.
And let's not even get started on the way that Tamar has been dragging Toni publicly more than once. She's aired out so much on social media, including the one post where she said, "Y'all have no idea, none. The gaslighting is crazy and I'm going back into treatment. But I'm so mad at my life. My family is toxic. I should have never went back to Braxton family values, never. Y'all, I'm going through it. I'm single and sad in this TV stuff is a lot. And that's not even the half of it, because let's talk about the fact that Tamar has Toni blocked like half the time. On Tamar's birthday last year, Toni posted, wanted to repost the gorgeous picture of you, but I'm blocked again. Anyways, happy birthday, Tay. Well, Tamar didn't let that slide either. She fired back saying, I block my sisters all the time. You work on my nerves, you get blocked. Then she responded directly to Toni's post and said, or you could have called gaslighting. And she wasn't done yet. She added, y'all gonna stop playing with me. It's my birthday. I'm celebrating with my friends and not bothering a soul. You did it to be mean, like we don't talk. Happy birthday to me anyway. Love you too. So yeah, it's not secret that these two have major issues, and the dynamic has been rocky for years. So Tamar going after Toni now, especially over some shmoney, well, really isn't all that surprising, is it? But it is surprising though, is the idea that Toni Braxton would even need to pull something shady in the first place. She's a legend, a whole icon, the moment. You wouldn't think that someone like her would be struggling behind the scenes, but the truth is, Toni has a long history of financial issues, and when you start to connect them dots, things start adding up real fast. Toni was one of the biggest stars of the 90s, and she had a hit after hit, sold millions of records, and was making some serious cash, but somehow she lost it all, not once, but twice. The first time was back in 1998 when she filed for bankruptcy, and it shocked everybody. People couldn't wrap their heads around how someone that successful could be broke. She was everywhere at the time, so the news was hitting hard. Things just kept getting worse. The financial drama didn't go away, it escalated, headlines were brutal, the press was all over it, and it really started to take a toll. One minute she was on top of the world, the next she was trying to recover from a financial mess nobody saw coming. But at one point, Toni even went on Oprah to try and clear the air, but it completely backfired. Oprah started asking real questions about her spending habits and called out some of the decisions that led to all the debt in the first place. And instead of owning it, Toni kind of shut down. She got emotional, accused Oprah of being mean, and ended up planting herself as the victim. It was uncomfortable to watch, but what was supposed to be a chance to tell her side just made things look worse.
She was so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%?
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me. And immediately, she made me feel this big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
Toni did manage to bounce back after that first bankruptcy, and for a while it looked like she was finally on solid ground again. The music was still coming and the spotlight was still on her, and things seemed to be looking up, but the peace just didn't last. In 2010, she filed for bankruptcy again, and this time it was even worse. According to reports, Toni claimed her debts were somewhere between $10 million and $50 million, and she said the turning point was when her Las Vegas residency got canceled right after she was diagnosed with a serious heart condition. But that wasn't the only thing going wrong. There were insurance issues, messy disputes over coverage, and a mountain of unpaid taxes piling up in the background. It was one thing after another, and once again her finances completely collapsed. Since then, Toni's been quietly trying to stay afloat, but the numbers tell the story. The music just isn't hitting like it used to. Her last album barely sold 7,000 copies and only reached number 163 on the Billboard 200, and one before that didn't do much better either, pulling in around 16,000. For someone who used to dominate the charts, those numbers are a red flag. But the album sales slipping, most of her income has been coming from the Braxton family reality show. But even that started to slow down. The buzz just isn't what it used to be. The ratings have dipped, and without steady press or new music making waves, it's clear the pressure has been building behind the scenes, and now fans are starting to ask real questions like, was her relationship with Birdman really out of love, or was it about survival? Right around the time the rumors started swirling that Toni was on the verge of filing for bankruptcy again, she suddenly reappeared with Birdman, and this was after years of being broken up with no sign that they were even speaking. The timing definitely caught people off guard. It felt like a little too convenient, and now some fans are convinced it wasn't about rekindling an old flame, it was about strategy, because when everything around her seemed to be crumbling, reconnecting with Birdman might have been less about romance and more about survival. But let's be realistic for a millisecond. When Toni and Birdman suddenly got back together in 2023, it threw everything off. She had spent years making it clear that they were done. No mixed signals, no maybe someday, just straight up saying that there was no chance of them getting back together. So when she flipped that script and started cozying up to him again, fans instantly felt like something wasn't adding up. And now that Tamar herself is speaking out and airing all kinds of dirty laundry, people are starting to connect the dots. Even before all this latest drama blew up, fans had already been side-eyeing the strange energy between Toni and Birdman. A lot of people started picking up on it after that super awkward interview that she did with Tamron Hall back in 2022. Now, if you remember, Toni was on the show to open up about her lupus diagnosis, and it was meant to be vulnerable, heartfelt type of conversation. But the moment Tamron brought up Birdman's name, everything shifted. Toni froze up, barely made eye contact, and the vibe in the room got real tense real fast. You didn't need a body language expert to tell that something was off. It felt like whatever was going on between them wasn't as picture perfect as it seemed.
I think it's when I was first diagnosed with having lupus, I was so down, I was so depressed, and the doctors told me I would never be able to work again, your music career's over, but the man upstairs had a whole other plan for me.
But it got worse because according to Tamar, Toni allegedly sold off her engagement ring from Birdman back in the day to settle some debts and then lied about it getting lost. Remember back in 2018 when Birdman proposed, he showed up with that huge yellow diamond ring, supposedly worth $5 million. It was the over-the-top flashy and had everybody talking. For a second, it really looked like they were heading toward a fairy tale ending, but then everything went quiet and there were no updates about the wedding.
Okay, you're engaged.
I'm engaged.
He did good, right?
He did well, right? Very well. He did good.
The wedding kept getting pushed back. First it was delayed, then postponed, then just forgotten. And Toni kept blaming timing, but fans weren't buying it. Something felt off. Then came the biggest red flag of all. Toni lost the ring. She claimed she accidentally left it in a bag on a flight. And while the bag was returned, the ring was gone. Well, now allegedly Tamar is claiming that Toni didn't actually lose that ring at all. It's looking like Toni allegedly pawned it to cover her debts. And honestly, it wouldn't be that surprising because let's be real a second for a millisecond. Toni's history with money has always been rocky. A word in the streets is that she's in a tight spot and needed a fast cash. So she did what a lot of people would do if they were desperate. She sold the most valuable thing she had at the time, that $5 million engagement ring. And now fast forward to the present, it looks like Tamar wasn't the only one Toni allegedly tried to take money from. According to reports, she filed for divorce from Birdman just 2 weeks after they got married. She claimed they separated only 2 days after the wedding, but here's the real kicker. Multiple sources say that Toni tried to walk away with a $160 million divorce payout. Let that sink in. Married for less than a month and already pushing for a massive chunk of Birdman's fortune? Fans were stunned. Some are calling it strategic, others are calling it flat out gold digger behavior. She take my money. But either way, the math isn't muffin, and people are starting to wonder if this was just a plan all along. Her plan to get out of being broke. So now the question is, was it really ever about love or just Toni chasing that bag? Because how do you walk out of a marriage after 2 days and think you're owed $160 million? That's the part fans can't wrap their heads around. The whole thing feels off. Like, how do you bounce that fast and just still feel entitled to his fortune? Was there something else going on in the scene? Do you have something on Birdman, Toni? Well, it's got a lot of people calling her out left and right, saying this wasn't a love story, it was a setup. Now, Toni's really looking desperate for cash lately, and honestly, something's just not adding up. It feels like something more than a financial struggle, and there's some hidden mess behind the scenes, chaos, and a whole lot she's not saying, because at this point, it's hard not to wonder what's really going on. And now that Toni's own bank is confirming the bankruptcy rumors, it's not just Tamar throwing shots. There could be cold proof that the money problems are real. It looks like Tamar might not just be in her petty self, but she could be exposing some receipts. And if Toni really tried to finesse her own sister on top of everything else, that's not just messy, that's betrayal on a whole new level. Because if that's what she's doing to the whole family, who hasn't she tried it with? But one thing's for sure, two things for certain, this drama is far from over.